So continuing the tie knot series, this was a comment left on a previous video. Somebody was asking about the Trinity knot. So here we have the Trinity knot. It's not my favourite. It's large, it's complicated, and a little bit pointless. However, it's a bit of fun, and it will get people talking. It will definitely get people asking questions about it because it's not a knot you see every day. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you in reverse, so you'll see how it ends up and then how to deconstruct it, and then I'll show you how to tie it. So this is the interesting bit because you start to see why it's different already. So it ends up with an extra, the narrow end being uselessly tucked around the neck. It doesn't hang neatly at the back of the tie as it normally would. So you've got to deal with that. However, that's an easy thing to fix. You just tuck it in and forget about it. But to deconstruct it, you really have to just untie it the same as in the reverse way as you tied it. And there we have it. So again, it's not a standard way of tying a knot. You're basically doing all of the tying with the narrow end. You start off with the wide end in your right hand, narrow end in the left, and you are determining the length of the tie, so where you want the tie to sit at the start. So you want it to sit around the belt line, and you're doing all of the tying with the narrow end. So we're crossing, and if you're familiar with the Windsor knot that we've done before, you'll see some familiar bits at the start of this one. So we go narrow over wide, and once around the right side. We're then going to pass it underneath and through the neck hole and down. Now, that is the first checkpoint. So we've got the dimple, we've got the once round one side, once round the other, and the narrow end at the back. So if you're getting to that stage and it looks like that, then you're on track. Then we're going to pass it around the left to the right, up the back and down the front, and this starts to look a bit familiar, a normal tie knot. However, it's looking like that, so you know it's not finished yet, but that's your second checkpoint. If it looks like that, then again you're on the right track. Now loosen that top bit that you just tucked in, because we're going to use that loop in a second. We're going to pass it around the back. This is where it starts to get a little bit fiddly. Around the back, up the front, and then through that loop that we just made. And we're starting to see the Trinity appearing. And that's the knot that you can see there. These three bits, three parts of the tie, all want to be roughly even. And this is where we start adjusting it. So the top bit, if that's too loose as it is there, you just pull the back bit down to tighten that up. Now the side bit is a little bit loose, so you pull on the neck bit, the narrow end, to tighten that up a bit. And then obviously the whole tie needs to be moved up towards the neck. So you do that with the wide end, and you slide the knot up towards the collar. And that's really it. The narrow end, you can either just leave it at the side and tuck the collar over it, but it's probably easier just to tuck that bit in there, keep it nice and neat. Fold the collar over the top. And there we have the Trinity knot.